If I told you the Chargers' future might swing because of 4 moves that look separate but are actually connected, would you believe me? Because that's exactly where we're at today. A guard who can move bodies in the run game, but turns into a question mark when the pocket has to hold up. A contract that could get cut with 0 hesitation. A pass rush so deep it's turning into a salary cap headache. And a mock draft curveball that might change what this offense looks like in the red zone. Stay with me, because there's one thread tying all of this together, and it matters a lot more than any one position. So I'll throw it right at you. Are you building through the trenches? Or are you handing the scheme another weapon? Let's be honest. Bring up the Chargers' offensive line in 2025, and you can feel the mood shift. But we can't pretend there weren't any bright spots. Right in the middle of that mess, Zion Johnson actually took a real step forward as a run blocker. Not a little better. Legit progress. The issue is football doesn't let you be great at one thing and shaky at the other without consequences. If you're opening lanes on the ground, but you're a problem when it's 3rd and long and the defense is coming, the offense gets predictable fast. And then you're watching Justin Herbert deal with pressure and you're thinking, how are we supposed to make a playoff run like this? What makes the Zion conversation even tougher is how wildly different the evaluations are on the same player. ESPN's Aaron Schatz pointed to Zion as a guy who could use a change of scenery in 2026. And the reasoning is pretty blunt. By pass block win rate, Zion was near the bottom among qualifying guards. 87.4%, 62nd out of 65. That's not what anyone expected from a first-round pick. Then you look at the run side, and it's basically the opposite story. 79.3% run block win rate, 2nd among guards, behind only Seattle rookie Gray Zabel. So what's the move? Do you pay for the run game anchor and bet coaching and scheme can smooth out the pass pro issues? Or do you move on and chase a more complete profile, even if it's pricier? And don't sleep on the fan side of this, because Bolt fam is split. One group is like, keep him, stop rebooting the interior every year. Continuity matters. Chemistry matters. The other group fires back, first-round pedigree has to show up in the biggest moments, not just on inside zone. And honestly, I get both arguments, because we've watched this play out for 4 seasons. We've all seen reps where the pocket collapses faster than it should. You don't need a spreadsheet for that. Your eyes already did the work. While that debate is still boiling, there's another situation that feels way more urgent, and it's hard to miss. Mekhi Becton. And yeah, I know the context. The line was hurt before the season even fully got rolling. Rashawn Slater suffered a torn patellar tendon in his left knee during training camp, just 11 days after signing that 4-year, $114 million extension. Then Joe Alt, who started the year strong, suffered a high ankle sprain in Week 5 that eventually led to season-ending surgery. That's a brutal setup. But here's the point. Losing tackles doesn't automatically explain away everything that went wrong inside. Because when Becton was actually on the field, the results didn't match the gamble. Daniel Popper at The Athletic flagged him as the most likely salary cap casualty for the Chargers. And the cap math is straightforward. Cut him and you save $9.7 million against the 2026 cap, with a $2.5 million dead cap hit. Teams don't ignore numbers like that, and the performance side helps explain why patience is thin. His overall PFF grade was 35.7, ranking 79th out of 81 qualifying guards. Drill down and it's even rougher. A 45.2 pass blocking grade, 72nd, and a 34.3 run blocking grade that ranked dead last, 81st. That's not a tweak here and there, that's, we can't live like this. So now it's bigger than one player. If the Chargers move on from Becton, and Bozeman is also being mentioned as a likely cut candidate, which would open up another $5.875 million in cap space, while costing $1.06 million in dead money, you're staring at an interior overhaul. Add in the list of linemen tied to free agency situations, and all of a sudden Herbert could be walking into a totally different group in 2026. That can be the reset that saves your offense. Or it can be another year of growing pains while everyone tries to gel. Quick question for you. How many more seasons are you willing to spend figuring out the middle of the line? And while we're stressing over protection and pocket integrity, the defense is sitting there like, we're good. Almost too good. The Chargers have a legit good problem right now. An abundance of pass rushers. Odafe Oweh, Khalil Mack, and Tuli Tuipulotu were insanely productive together in 2025. Oweh, acquired before the trade deadline, came in and immediately changed the speed of the front. 7.5 sacks in half a season with the Chargers. And in the wildcard loss to the Patriots, 3 sacks. In one game. Yeah, that's the kind of stage where your value shoots up overnight. Mack, future Hall of Famer, played 12 games and totaled 5.5 sacks. Even with age being part of the conversation, the respect he gets is real. Protections slide, quarterbacks feel him. And Tuli led the team with 13 sacks, including that 4-sack eruption against the Giants. That's star-level production. That's the backbone of the next wave of this defense. Now comes the hard part, paying everybody. Oweh boosted his market. Mack still has demand. And Tuli, even under contract through 2026, could want an extension before he's staring at free agency the next offseason. This is where cap strategy runs straight into locker room reality. Who gets paid, who gets thanked, and who gets replaced. That's why a backup plan is being floated. If the Chargers can't retain Mack and Oweh, Jacob Infante of Pro Football Sports Network laid out the idea of taking a swing on Trey Hendrickson. Nothing is confirmed yet. This is a contingency angle, but it's an interesting one. Hendrickson had that public dispute over a new contract with the Bengals last offseason and eventually agreed to a 1-year deal worth $29 million. Then 2025 didn't go how he wanted. 7 games, 4 sacks, injury issues. Still, you can't pretend back-to-back 17.5 sack seasons in 2023 and 2024 didn't happen. That's elite production, the kind that changes games late, especially when it's the fourth quarter at SoFi Stadium. Infante also pointed out the Chargers ranked 8th in PFSN's defense impact metric in 2025, but lost defensive coordinator Jesse Minter to the Baltimore Ravens head coaching job. So there's an argument the team could get more aggressive on defense this offseason to offset that loss. SpotTrack has Hendrickson valued at $25.4 million annually on a projected 2-year deal worth about $50.9 million. And with $83.5 million in cap space, the Chargers could do it if they really wanted to. The choice is pretty simple and pretty ruthless. Do you pay top dollar to keep the pass rush terrifying? Or do you protect flexibility so the offense finally gets fixed first? And then, while all of that is swirling, the draft talk basically tossed gasoline on the comment section. Daniel Jeremiah, NFL analyst and radio color commentator for the Chargers, dropped the second version of his annual mock draft. And people react to him for a reason. Over the past 3 seasons, he's predicted the Chargers' first-round pick correctly every time. So when Jeremiah points somewhere, you don't just shrug it off. His pick this time? Tight end Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon. And yeah, it's a surprise, because the needs feel obvious. Offensive line, defensive line, trench depth. Most mocks have the Chargers addressing that in round 1. But the other side of it is real too. Free agency exists, and you can patch certain holes there. And if the coaching staff is thinking about chunk plays and stressing the middle of the field, adding a dynamic tight end starts to make sense. Sadiq isn't a random dart throw. In his junior season at Oregon, he put up 560 yards and 8 touchdowns on 51 catches. He projects as a capable blocker and a dynamic pass catcher at the next level. That kind of player helps you on early downs and still gives you something in the red zone. And if you're creative, multiple tight end looks can be a nightmare for defenses, especially when you're hunting matchups. But here's the wrinkle. The Chargers already have an emerging young tight end in Oronde Gadsden II. He started 2025 as a healthy scratch and still finished with 664 yards and 3 touchdowns on 49 receptions. That's a breakout. That's chemistry starting to form. So if you draft Sadiq at 22, you're not just adding talent, you're changing the room. You're creating a new pecking order. You're basically telling Gadsden, awesome rookie year, now do it again. And maybe that's exactly what the Chargers want. With Will Dissly and Tucker Fisk having question marks around their viability, there's a case for adding another tight end. The Shock is doing it that high because it signals intention. It says they're not only patching holes, they're trying to reshape how defenses have to play them. So let's circle back to the thread that ties this all together, the thing I teased at the top. These aren't four disconnected stories. It's one direction. Zion's future, potential cuts on the interior line, the cap puzzle on the edge, and a first-round pick that could shift the offense. It all points to an identity decision. Are the Chargers committing to rebuilding the foundation up front so Herbert can operate clean? Or are they leaning into weapons and matchups and trusting they can fix the line through other means? Alright, if you're still here, do me a favor. Tap like and subscribe, because we're riding every twist of this offseason together. And I need you in the comments right now. If you had to pick one lane for 2026, what's the move? Trenches first, or add the chess piece and let the coaching staff cook? Bolt fam, don't stay quiet. This is the kind of offseason that decides what September feels like.